Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mitchell's Childhood Memories, Part 11. I'm a morning person, and I've always been that way my whole life. Like right now in my life, I wake up around dawn, and I get up and I do my exercises and my yoga, my meditation, and I start my day. But even when I was a child, I was like that. I would get up in the morning, full of energy, and even when my mom and dad was sleeping late, I would get up early. That was it. That was just the way I was. Of course, I would get tired in the afternoon or the evening, but I was just a morning person. Anyway, when I got up on Saturday and Sunday, when my dad was home, they slept late, and so I would tiptoe into the living room, turn on the television. I'm just a little boy, and you see, in those days, what I got was a blank screen because television didn't run at night like it does now. So it was just a blank screen. The reason I did that, I was very excited to wait for that dramatic moment when the screen came to life. It was like a little dot, and then the light came, and then there was an American flag. And if I recall correctly, there was a rendition of the national anthem of the United States. And then there would be programs like the American Farmer and the Big Picture, I think it was called, about the heroics of the United States Army. And then the cartoons would start, and I could just watch cartoons for a long, long time. Yeah, I was I watched, I guess, a good amount of children's shows when I was young, but my favorite one was called The Merry Mailman. And let me tell you about The Merry Mailman. The host was dressed up in a postman's uniform, and he opened up by singing a song like, "I am the merry mailman, ding dong, your bell will ring, da 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 da," etc., etc. And so the whole show was a bunch of 4 or 5, 6-year-old kids running around, and they had various activities, game playing, etc. But for my favorite part was the highlight was at the end. They would have like a birthday party. The merry mailman would ask, "Where is the birthday boy and the birthday girl?" Now thinking back, it looked like they had it arranged with all the children on the TV show. There was always one birthday boy and birthday girl. And they would come up, and there would be a cake with candles. They'd light the candles, blow out the candles. Everyone would sing happy birthday. They were given gifts and cake, and I just loved it. That was my favorite part. So you can imagine how excited I was when one day my mom, my mom told me she had a surprise for me. She had arranged for me to be on the Merry Mailman show live. I would be one of the children. Wow, was I excited. And with me would be my Uncle Mark, who was only less than 2 years older than me. So we would both be he was like he was like my brother those days, and we would both be on the show together. And I was really, really excited, and it was a big moment. And I get down to the show, and my mom goes in the separate, all the parents are in one studio, and I'm there with all the children. And so the same thing, Ray Heatherton, the Merry Mailman, sang his song, and then we played, and we did games, and we sang, and etc., etc. And then came the dramatic moment. The Merry Mailman said, "Where is my birthday boy today? Where is my birthday girl?" And one boy and one girl comes forward, and I come forward. Now, I think this was not to the script, because usually you have one boy and one girl. And they probably thought something's going on here, but anyway, they just continued. And they asked the little boy, "How old are you?" And he said, "I'm 4 years old." And he asked the girl, "The birthday girl, how old are you today?" And she said, "I'm 5 years old." And then he turned to me and said, "Little boy, how old are you today?" And I said, "I'm 4.5." Wow, my mom is looking on with all the other mothers, and she's so laughing but embarrassed. She's hiding her face. Oh my God, what am I doing? Well, I told the truth. I'm 4.5, and I certainly wanted to still have a birthday. So I did it. They lit the candles. I don't know if I had 4.5 candles, but they lit, and I blew out the candles, and everyone sang happy birthday, and I got gifts and cake, and anyway, it was a moment, a memory which I'll always cherish. Yeah, a lot of great childhood memories. Those days when I was very young, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, my best friend was a boy named Alan Semensky. So let me tell you about Alan. He lived on my floor in my apartment building. And unfortunately, Alan was born prematurely. And because of that, he was born blind. And he was born with a very bad heart. In fact, throughout his childhood, he had to go for medical procedure after medical procedure. And sometimes my mom would tell me he would go for a surgery, and they say it's 50-50 that he would even live through the surgery. But Alan always lived. But I love spending time with Alan because he always was so positive. He always brought me up. He always had despite all his troubles, he always had a smile on his face. He laughed. He was incredibly funny. He told fantastic jokes. And he was very intelligent. I can have conversations about any history or science, and he knew more than me. And it was just so, I always left with a good feeling after seeing Alan. He was and he was also the one person I could confide with. I felt that I could really talk to in my early childhood. I remember a couple of incidents. One time I came home from a baseball game playing outside, and I came home and my team lost, and I was very, very upset. And I went to Alan and I complained that my team lost and it wasn't fair, blah, blah, blah. And then Alan just looked at me with this expression of just empathy and love. And then I realized, wow, Alan can't even go out and play. He can't even go out and play base. He's never played baseball in his life. And here I'm complaining about losing a little baseball game. So he really taught me a lesson. Another time I came home from school after a bad day, and maybe student said something I didn't like, or the teacher criticized me, or I got a question wrong, and I complained to him, and again, Alan gave me that expression of just empathy and love, and again, I realized, what am I complaining about? This Alan can't even go to school. He's not complaining, so how dare I to complain? So in other words, Alan taught me a quality called gratitude. When I was 12 years old, I moved out of the projects in Brooklyn. I moved, it was across the street actually, but somehow one of the greatest mistakes I made of my life, I never kept up with Alan. I never kept up with him again. I saw him rarely. I regret it to this day. But to make up with this, now I remember Alan every morning. Every morning I say my prayers. And when I say my prayers, I pray that I will be grateful for what I have in my life. And I pray that I will not complain about things that I don't have. And I do this all in the spirit of my friend, Alan Semensky. So Alan, Alan lives in my heart, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.